Yo, what's up, people of YouTube? So I was rewatching Frieren, season 2, episode 2, Hero of the South, and um I loved this episode so much, and I was just rewatching it because I it really stuck to me when the Hero of the South was talking to Frieren, and he was telling her how, of course, he knew that um he was not going to be able to convince her. Like, he didn't have this magical phrase, these magical words, whatever the saying was, this key to unlock for her to basically come along with him, right? He didn't have this. And it made me think of what Himmel told Frieren. So I went back to season 1 to rewatch that episode and just to kind of see what Himmel ended up saying to her. And it's very interesting because even though the Hero of the South had like this future sight, right? Like, you can see the future. It really proves that just because you can see the future, it doesn't provide a solution to a problem, right? It's like, depends on the problem, right? If, for example, you're gifted power of future sight, and like you can see that tomorrow, if you go to work on your way on your way to work, you'll get in a car accident. Well, that's easy. You'll be like, all right, well, tomorrow I'm just not going to work, right? And you would avoid the car accident, and you would avoid dying and all this or whatever happens, right? But if I was to tell you, like, get power of future sight, and you see into the future that within 6 months there will be an earthquake in some country, right? Whatever the country is. It's like, how do you stop that? Just because you are provided and seeing the future doesn't really give you anything to prevent it, right? That's why it's so beautifully written. Like the way he like the Hero of the South is actually like such a well written hero in like those 5 minutes of screen time that he was in. It's crazy, right? But we're here to more talk about the phrase. We can glaze my boy all we want all day long because he deserves it. But really, this whole like rant is about the phrase that Himmel said to Frieren to convince her to go with him. And it all actually goes back to when Frieren met her master. I think it's Flamme. I don't know how to say her name. It's I'm terrible at pronouncing stuff. English is my fifth language, so I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm gonna play a clip and then we'll kind of like break it down and just talk about it of the first interaction with Frieren and her master. All right. All right. So right there, right, just in that moment, she sees Hermana, acknowledges that she's a strong mage. You must be powerful. Acknowledges that Frieren is strong, but she doesn't care. It's not like she's in awe. She's not like, oh my God, you're exceptional. You're one of one. She just views her as another strong mage, right? And actually, like, very disappointed because she hates that. It's like wasted talent, right? For her, as we all know how she fights, like, like hiding your mana, even though it's very underhanded and all this stuff. But she doesn't like mages that not showboating, but in a way like aren't like you're so strong, but it's like you don't have anything else besides that, right? Compared to her, it's like yes, her techniques are underhanded, but it's like what makes her exceptional is the way she uses her mana, how she uses her strength. But anyway, this part is what I love. When she's walking to her, I love look at the expression on her face. Now I know characters in Frieren, we don't have like these crazy expressions. Like, we almost always say like they fight and do all this stuff with like no expression. Almost because we're so used to, like, in other animes or other shows, when people are fighting, like in Dragon Ball, and they're screaming and then they're powering up and they're doing all these facial stuff and all this stuff, right? But that's like show stuff. You watch like you go to like a combat sport, a boxing match, and it's like that's the last thing you want to do, right? You don't want to be showing anger. You don't want to be showing that you're hurt. You don't want to be showing these emotions on your face because any of those things are like a telltale sign for your opponent, right? And the show is actually very good at showing like actual real life expressions, like how we all as people interact. But we're so used to like animes doing this, right? Like over the top expressions and stuff. So like sometimes all these like little subtle expressions that are very realistic, very real, are missed, are like kind of like moot in a sense by like because we're so used to other stuff. You can see her disappointment right here and like almost anger, like almost like this empty void in her eyes. And it's not that like looking too deep into it. It's actually like just like really like she's talking down to Frieren this whole time and looking past her. Not once does she look at her. She looked at her mana and she looked at her position. But once she starts the lecture and starts walking past her, she never once looks at her. She almost gives me like this Toji vibe if you're like, a JJK fan, right? Like this whole like dead look in the eyes. We all know Toji hated sorcerers. Like he walks past by him, like especially like a Zenin, like just completely dead, like doesn't acknowledge. It's like when a girl's been messing with you for like forever, like in school back in the day, and you finally cut it off and you just walk past her in the hallway and don't even acknowledge it because you want to aura farm. So some shit like that. But this is real shit. It's like it's not just them trying to aura farm. Maybe Toji because he's always aura farming. But anyway, she legit walks past her, lecturing her in a way. Even when we get this shot, beautiful shot because it's not like she's looking down on her, even though she's like talking down to her, but she doesn't even waste the time to look down on her. We don't get a shot of her like looking down at her, glancing at her, nothing, just straight looking past her. But this is the phrase, this is the moment because she still has no interest in her, right? She's just like, wait, what did you say? But still not interested in Frieren. But this is the phrase that changes everything, right? And captivates her interest. Because with this phrase, Frieren is now setting herself apart from just being a strong, arrogant mage. Maybe not arrogant in Flam's eyes because it's like you could have done so many other things, right? But because you are strong, because you have this mind, because you're the strongest one in your village, you thought like you could just like defeat this demon and save everybody. But it's like there was so many options, right? And you're so strong, you limited yourself to the one option you had when you in reality you had so many, right? So this is what really captivated her because we all know she conceals her mana, and this really set Frieren, like I said, aside from just being a strong mage to being of one, a genius, an exceptional mage, which is very different. And we can see that in her face. That's when she finally shows interest in her. And this is the first time we get a shot, a POV from Frieren of her actually looking at her finally, like face to face. But this is the phrase that Himmel knew that the hero of the South did not know. And he was never going to know it. Just the feeling. The answer to the question of why and how do you know that I'm strong, right? And then when we get the whole like, she takes her with her, she like reinforces the lecture that these demons uh these demons that approach them look down on her as being weak because she conceals her mind. But unlike Frieren, you know, who knew the reality because she's an exceptional mage. Look past that, right? And I know like she uses like this exceptional like, but don't get it twisted. It's like she's acknowledging they're like strong mages, but if like we really want to differentiate, we put like Frieren as being like above and beyond that. And this exact thing happens when they first meet. These two are only judging Frieren by her mana, which even though it's like a whole funny thing, like we like it's almost implied that like Frieren is like, dude, you know nothing. You're not. You guys aren't exceptional. Like, go away. You're wasting my time. If like all you're gonna judge me is by my mana, and like you think I'm strong or not, like that's not a gauge enough, right? Like she knows that, and they're them judging her just on that. She's like dismisses him because of it. But it's not till Himmel speaks up, and then that's what captivates her attention. What makes you say that? Just a feeling. And those are the words that the hero of the South did not possess. And he knew that. And it's like so beautifully written, right? It's like because he's probably since he's seen the future so many times, if that's how it works, right? He's probably pondered like hundreds of things that he could say to Frieren. And like if each one failed, he's all like, I don't know what these magical words or what phrase or what I need to do, how to convince her. It's like he's like, I just don't have it because it wasn't fate. It literally was not fate for Frieren to join him. And I think that's so beautiful because as you can see, she like had no interest. The only thing is she showed interest in is like it's like you knew like how did you kind of like already know that? But it's so amazing. It's like such good writing and stuff. And I had the Syria one pulled up too because she also was the same way as Frieren as Flam with Fern that like Fern was kind of like shocked by her mana. That's what she thought, right? Unamused, unfazed by her. She's like she's not an exceptional mage. She's like Frieren told me like she was supposed to like exceed my expectations and she's just a regular mage. She might be a strong mage, but I'm not looking for strong mages. Those are numerous probably out there, right? I'm looking for one of one. And it's the same kind of like little smile that Freedom's Master gave. And that's what piques their interest. In same way that when Frieren heard Himmel say, like why he knew. And for him, it's just a gut feeling, like they got this gut feeling. But it's so well written, so beautifully written. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to share that. I loved this episode. Hero of the South was amazing, badass dude. 1v8 and was able to kill 4 people. That's like insane. And then one thing I want to talk about, like really quickly, this is just like after is I saw like a lot of reaction channels because I watch a lot of them. Like just I love watching reaction channels for like episodes. And a lot of reactors were missing the point. Like so many people were saying, it's like, if the sword, if the demon sword is so dangerous, why keep it in the city, right? And like Frieren kind of explains it, but it's always so broad that it's like not directly in your. A lot of this stuff isn't directly stated in your face, and a lot of people, if you don't tell them, hey, that thing is blue, like they don't like it will go over their head sometimes, and like it happens to me too. Like I'm not saying like I'm perfect or nothing, but like a lot of times if it's not directly told to you, like it could go over your head, and you can think that, but it's like the whole sword, demon sword thing is like she states is like every time a demon steals it, the first thing they do is essentially go like on a rampage because demons love to show off their power, right? So they obtain this new weapon that we don't know what the sword does, right? We didn't know if it like heightens their abilities, if whatever, if it's just a strong sword, whatever the case. But because they obtain this new power, they're very arrogant beings and they want to like show it off. You know, they always want to gloat about to other demons, to other whatever the case may be, other species, whatever the case. So it causes more damage in the long run. Because a lot of people are saying, well, just let them keep it. It's like, why would you keep it in your city if they're gonna like constantly try to steal it? It's like, but the thing is like they've had this sword for 80 plus years, right? Um, and like it's only been stolen twice. So I'd say they're doing a really good job of protecting it and like keeping it in their city, kingdom, whatever this is. And the beautiful thing is that like a lot of people say it's like, well, it puts like this whole place in danger, right? Because if they're constantly going to try to steal it, but it's beautifully shown um, that these people look that even though they have like their priorities to protect the sword, we get this shot look of Frieren looking back at the city, smiling because look at how peaceful it is here. If these people were fearful of like, oh my God, our Lord or one of these nobles is keeping this dangerous thing that keeps attracting demons and we're always in danger because of it and our city's in ruins because of it, do you think it would be this peaceful, this joyful? No, this is purposely showing it's like them keeping the sword is the best option because if it wasn't for that, then the demons would be out there like massacring people with it. And it's so beautifully, it's like not in your face thing, but it's like it's right there at the same time, you know? And like the kids are like playing with the guards who protect the city. Very peaceful place. And other shows or any other places like they would have shown you is like the citizens are like hiding their the the food in the stalls are old and nasty because like you know that there's always being attacked by demons, so there's no good harvest, no good crops, the people aren't happy, but look, they're smiling, they're happy, they're playful, there's children outside, so it's safe. And look, Frieren knows that, Fern knows that, Stark knows that, they're all smiling because they know that is the best option. So I just wanted to throw that in there. A lot of people kind of missed that, went over, like, you know, they're like, oh my God, they should not keep the sword. They need to get rid of it. And it's like, no, dude, it's like they're literally telling you this is the best option. If not, there's going to be like people outside of the city, like towns and villages, just getting massacred because these demons are going to go on a rampage until you stop them. It's so crazy. But if you stuck around this long, I don't know why you did. Just me rambling on a random Monday night. Um, but yeah, we'll see what next episode holds. But thanks if you watched this long, I guess, and leave some comments down below of how you felt about this episode. It was one of my favorites. Hero of the South, Hero of the South Glazer right here. Dude's a beast. Dude's an animal. But peace. Thanks for watching, I guess.